special. Thank you.
Well, thank you very much. Dave, can you hear us on this line? Then there. Okay, Dave, this is Eskil on the final microphone. How do you read me?
You're sounding good.
Good. All right. We'll just have two students ask a few questions just to make sure that the audio level is okay.
Okay.
This is Valentina. How does the ISS contribute to the environmental issues facing our modern society today? Over.
I hear you loud and clear. Over.
This is Eric. This is the 55th space expedition. How different are the expeditions from each other? Over.
Sounding good. Over.
Okay, yeah, that sounded good. Let me just double check that we have a good audio volume here in the room.
This is N3FZX doing an audio check. 9, 8, 7.
Now we're going to do an applause check. So, I'm going to do this in Swedish just so everybody understands. Det vi vill göra är att vi ska applådera, göra en test här så att när det blir dags så ska ni få skicka iväg applåder till astronauten för att tacka när det blir dags. Så när jag ger signalen så får ni applådera. Så alla applåderar nu. Och showa gärna. Stopp. Och ni får gärna showa också. Okej, when you try. 1, 2, 3. Yeah! Okay, so did that go through well, Dave?
Sounds good. Over.
Good, excellent. At least we got that one squared away. All right. Well, we got about 7 minutes to go here. We got a room full of technicians, and I can tell you that everybody has been really involved here. We got a whole bunch of students who are manning the control center, which is a whole bunch of cameras and computers. Everybody has been involved in preparing the presentations, video presentations. We have technicians, all students taking care of the streaming website. And well, it's been quite an enterprise from what I have been told, and a good involvement from all different groups of students. So they're all rearing to go on this side, I can tell you that. Well, we have about 7 minutes to go before I'm going to start the official script. And I can tell you we got a lot of eager students. Temperature here, by the way, is at 13 degrees Celsius below zero. And located about 600 kilometers to the north of Stockholm, where I am moderating for the time being. Okay. Yeah, besides that, not much to tell you from this side. Dave, go ahead.
It's a little better here. We're right around 0 Celsius. That changeable season when the temperatures swing a lot between nighttime and daytime. And right now I'm showing 16 minutes and 50 seconds till AOS.
Okay, excellent. Well, I guess you guys don't have any snow over there, right?
Not here where we are in Maryland, but our northeast just got another batch of snow a day or so ago. It's been a strange season with a number of big storms running through a few days apart.
Yeah, okay. Well, we did notice that we have quite a few new astronauts on board the space station as well. So I guess that should be interesting. And we have quite a few good questions lined up, actually 24 questions to be exact. So it's going to be quite interesting to see Scott answer these questions. I'm really looking forward to see what the answers are going to be.
Yep, should be interesting.
Now, were you just answering through the radio or through your normal microphone? Go ahead.
We have the phone patch connected to a speakerphone, and I've got the speakerphone speaking. Unmute when I want to talk, and then I mute it again.
Okay, copied. All right. Well, we'll just try to fill the time here. I'm going to start the script going in about 7 minutes from now. Not much to tell you besides that we're really waiting and anticipating what's going to happen here. As you know, our latest contact, which we're trying to do a couple of months ago in conjunction with Ireland, didn't go too well. And of course, this time we have put all the chances on our side. We are prepared. We are really locked up on the double connection with you guys. We have the phone line. We have a separate phone line, and so we're really making sure that this is going to be a tremendous success.
Yeah, that's what we're looking forward to. We've got the live stream running, so one of the guys can watch what you're up to over there. And looking forward to a successful contact.
Oh, I'm sure it will be, especially with you guys at the helm at the ground station. That should be really interesting. Tell me, how much power output do you have from the radio station over there?
We're running 100 watts into. I don't even remember how many elements are on the antenna.
26, like that.
Yeah, 213 elements crossed.
Plenty.
And let me see. There's you, and is there somebody else in the radio station right now?
Yeah, we've got Bob McCone, N3IYI, and Ken McCoy, N3
FZX.
FZX.
Okay, well, hello, Tim. I didn't know you were there as well. Well, we get a few ham radio operators as well. We have, let me see, students. How many of you are ham radio operators? Raise your hands. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I have 6 students who have taken their ham radio licenses, who raised their hands. And then I've got one, two more students, more ham radio operators here in the audience. I have SM3ESX and SM3FJF and me, of course. So it's we're kind of, oh, there's one more in the back I see there. So we're overly represented here in Sundsvall. Actually, the event right now is in Sundsvall, which is about 600 kilometers to the north of Stockholm. And we're basically in the center of town. All the schools have come to this location to do the contacts. Well, we have about 4 minutes to go before I'm going to start running the script. And let me see here. Hold on. Oh, I've just been corrected here. We're not 600 kilometers to the north of Stockholm. We're 400 kilometers to the north of Stockholm. I stand corrected, which should be roughly about 215 statute miles, if I'm not corrected, if I'm not wrong. Dave, how far away from the Space Center itself?
We are on the grounds of Goddard Space Flight Center, and a penthouse on the roof of one of the buildings here, so about 4 stories in the air, or 5, plus our tower on top of that.
Oh, that's cool. And of course, now I just managed to disconnect myself, so just give me a second. I need to reconnect on the other line.
Don't do that.
Well, I guess I'll just stay on this one. Hold on for a sec. You still hear me, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yes, still hear you.
That one has a next pass. So
All right. I'm connected again. Well, I think I'm going to start the script. Mia, are you with us?
Yes, I'm here.
Can you please start a recording?
Certainly, one moment. The call is being recorded at this time. Thank you.
Thank you, Mia. All right, Dave, I'm going to start the official introduction and then we get things rolling.
Okay, very good. We have AOS in 9 minutes and 15 seconds.
Thank you. Hello, everyone. This is Eskil van Doosrecht, SM5SRR, located in Sundsvall, Sweden, and I am your moderator for today. Through the help of amateur radio volunteers and the crew on the ISS, we soon hope to establish radio contact with the International Space Station as it flies more than 400 kilometers above the Earth. This is all accomplished with ARIS, amateur radio on the International Space Station. The ISS is currently flying over the Pacific Ocean, whizzing along at nearly 28,000 kilometers per hour, which is 7.8 kilometers per second. The contact for today will be performed using the ARIS Telebridge network, a worldwide network of amateur radio ground stations that enable students to contact the ISS. ARIS is a consortium of volunteers from 9 nations that develop and operate the amateur radio equipment on board the International Space Station. Those that support ARIS are the American Radio Relay League, the worldwide AMSAT Amateur Radio Satellite Corporations, the Canadian Space Agency, the European Space Agency, the Japanese Space Agency, Roscosmos, the Russian Space Agency, and NASA. The amateur radio ground station that will establish contact with the ISS today is K6DUE, located at the Goddard Space Flight Center in Maryland, USA, and operated by Dave Taylor. Thank you for helping us today, Dave.
Glad to be with you.
The person on board the ISS who will be answering your questions today is astronaut Scott D. Tingle, KG5NZA. We have about 7 minutes to contact time. And our link up today will be with the students of Räddningsgymnasiet Sandö, close to Sundsvall, Sweden. Now let's check in with the students and Christer Byström. Christer, please tell us a little about the school and the students taking part today. Go ahead.
Okay. We have been running a project called Amateur Radio in Schools for the last 2 years. And it is in behalf of Sveriges Sändaramatörer, Swedish Amateur Radio Society. And there have been over 500 students in 4 different schools participating in this project. And we have it is a three-part project covering slight information of amateur radio and actually running amateur radio. And then we have Sandö Rescue High School who had a question, how can you benefit from radio operation in a rescue mission? So, and that question led to that 8 students and 1 teacher have their own amateur radio license at the moment. And we see this as the grand final of this project. And we do this in collaboration with NTI High School, with the video streaming, and also with Skvaden High School for the musical part of this streaming. And if you think about the astronauts and ISS, I think you can always also call this the final countdown of the project.
Well, thank you, Christer. And can you tell me a little bit, how many students are in the school, roughly?
Yes, after the project in this school, well, I think it's 100, maybe 200. Okay, 200 in this school, and in Sandö Räddnings Rescue Center, Rescue School, it's around 100.
So we're talking about 300 to 400 students altogether.
500.
500
all
altogether.
4
Excellent.
schools, 5 schools.
And where are the students from in general?
They are from in the neighborhood within 100 kilometers around this city, Sundsvall.
Okay, wonderful, wonderful. And well, as we've all noticed, the weather here today in Sundsvall, we have sunshine, a lot of snow, and which seems to be typical for the area. Am I correct?
Well, it's a little too much snow at the moment, but this is not normal. We are over 1.5 meters or more than 5 feet of snow.
But I thought this was normal. Isn't this reindeer country?
Not really.
Not really.
We have to go some more kilometers to the north.
Okay, well, it looks like it to me. Well, thank you very much, Christer. Well, we have about 4 minutes to go, so let's go over to K6DUE. Dave, before the contact begins, please tell us about your station, where you are, and how you will handle the conversation today. Go ahead, Dave.
Good day, everyone. It's Dave Taylor. My radio call sign is W8AAS. I'm operating our Eris ground station at the Goddard Space Flight Center, which is located in Maryland, just to the north of Washington, D.C. We have a radio station set up on the roof of one of the buildings here at Goddard. So we're about 4 stories off the ground, and we have antennas on the roof outside us that will track the space station as it passes across the sky. We have an almost overhead pass today, nearly 90 degrees overhead, so yeah, good long duration, or about the longest you can get from one of these passes. Still just a little over 10 minutes. We have our radios are connected to the antennas, and then through something we call a phone patch into the phone line so that we can speak with you. I will be operating the radio, switching it between transmit and receive every time I hear someone say over. And I know students there were doing a good job of that in the practice. Astronauts sometimes remember and sometimes not, so I will try to anticipate if he's not saying it. And then I think that's pretty much it. One thing, when we do go to make the contact, I will be switching the squelch off of the radio receiver, which means that you will hear a lot of noise that sounds like this. And that's not a problem, that's just the normal static that you hear when you're listening to a radio, and of course when the astronaut comes in, that will go away and you'll hear his voice nice and clearly. Other than that, I think we're about ready to go. We have 1 minute and 30 seconds to the contact, so switch it back to Eskil.
All right, thank you for that introduction, Dave. As Dave said, we now have around 1 minute before the space station comes over the horizon at the Goddard Space Flight Center in Maryland, USA. Now remember, what we are doing on the ISS is an experiment, so we can never tell the results, positive or negative, until the experiment is over. And students, don't forget to say over at the end of your question. In a few seconds, the station should be coming in range of Maryland. So Dave, it's all yours, and good luck.
Okay, thank you, Eskil. We have a computer controlling the antenna pointing and radio frequency, so we can adjust for Doppler. The antennas are swinging into position now. So I will wait a few seconds to get them down pointed to the horizon in the right direction, and then I will begin the call. As soon as I have established a good, solid radio contact with space station, I will turn it over and prompt the school to begin its first question. And here we go.
Kilo 6, Delta Uniform. Oh, this is November Alpha 1, Sierra Sierra, International Space Station. How do you copy?
This is Valentina. How does the ISS contribute?
School begin.
Hi, it's Valentina. How does the ISS contribute to the environmental issues facing our modern society today? Over.
Well, ISS is a great vantage point with a great perspective of Earth. We can see the atmosphere, we can see weather, and we have a lot of experiments up here with experimenting with plant growth, experimenting with human research, and experimenting with biology. So there's lots of things going on that we contribute to the environment.
This is Eric. This is the 55th space expedition. How different are the expeditions from each other? Over.
Well, the expeditions, I think the biggest thing that's different between the expeditions are the people. Every crew has a team, and that team develops a personality and a characteristic. Every once in a while, we'll have some primary missions, such as fixing the robotic arm or replacing the ammonia pump, and that takes on it's kind of the big project for the expedition. But all in all, the standard operating techniques are the same for all expeditions. Over.
This is Sanna. How does your mindset, perspective, and consciousness change after experiencing zero gravity in a confined environment? Over.
Well, we don't really change that much as far as how we think. Our perspective is obviously of a much bigger picture of Earth. We see how thin the atmosphere is. We do learn how to think a little differently. Normally on Earth, we have certain habits and certain reactions to when things happen, such as if you drop a tool, you bend over and pick it up. In space, you don't drop anything because there's no gravity, so you learn to think a little differently. Over.
This is Sofia. What is so important with micro or zero gravity when conducting various research experiments on the ISS? Over.
Any experiments or research that we conduct on Earth, they have to take into account gravity as a body force. By eliminating that body force, that allows us to look at any substances or any processes with one less variable. So it helps by eliminating a variable.
This is Johannes. If you could sum up the importance of the ISS to mankind and the world, what would you say it consists of?
I think the big idea for the International Space Station is in its name. It's in space. We have a global perspective, and it's international. We have a global perspective on how we work together as a team, and then all of the good things that come out from a global team will happen, such as much of the research that we're doing. Over.
Hi, my name is Felicia. Why did you sign up to live in space on the ISS, and did you ever have any doubts about that decision? Over.
I wanted to be an astronaut from a very young age because I liked the excitement and I liked having an impact on the future and doing something so great with such a great number of people on the team, something bigger than myself. So that's what attracted me, and no, I've never had any doubts. Over.
This is Linda. Have you and the other astronauts experienced cultural clashes aboard the ISS? If so, can you tell me about one of them? Over.
We don't really have any cultural clashes up here. We train together for 2 to 3 years before we come up here, and we're all very respectful of each other's cultures. We know each other's cultures very well, and we give a lot of space and tolerance and understanding, and most of the time we participate with them on any cultural things that they have going on. So it's really a great environment up here. Over.
This is Emil. Have you ever seen anything unexplainable when looking out on Earth and space? If so, what was it? Over.
Never seen anything unexplainable. We do see certain weather patterns or certain patterns in the dunes and the big deserts, things like that. They're all very explainable when the scientists look at them. They can explain them all very well. But to us, they are all definitely new visions. Over.
This is Robin. How does it feel to be locked inside the modules? Do you ever miss gravity or open spaces? Over.
It's not that bad. We don't really feel locked inside the modules. Do we miss gravity? Sometimes, when we want to get something done, and it gets hard because we're not strapped down and we have to find a place to strap down. But other than that, it's not bad. Over.
This is Thomas. Can you foretell the weather and/or climate from the ISS, and if so, with what precision? Over.
Well, when you say foretell, you're talking about forecasting weather. And back on Earth, they have models and things to do that, and they use satellites to help do that. From our perspective on ISS, we can look at the current weather around the world as we go, and we know that in general, the stuff that's a little bit to the west is going to be moving to the east. So from that perspective, we can tell you what's about to happen on that basis. But all in all, we leave the weather reports to the weather professionals. Over.
This is Isaac. What do you think about SpaceX's new design for the spacesuit? Is it a possible replacement? Over.
Yeah, so the spacesuit looks interesting, and our folks are looking at it, and everything is possible at this time. But I don't really know where that program stands in status, and I don't think they've made a decision yet. Over.
This is Isaac. During your daily routine on the ISS, how much time is spent doing research and how much time is spent doing spacewalks? Over.
Well, that's kind of a hard number to say. Every expedition's a little bit different depending on what we have for workload and for maintenance action items and for research. However, on 6 months, we might do 3 spacewalks, and each spacewalk will spend about 6 to 7 hours outside. So in 6 months of work, we'll do about 21 hours outside. Now keep in mind, each spacewalk has about 2 to 3 weeks of 3 people working 30 to 40 hours a week preparing for that spacewalk. So it depends how you want to count the hours as well. Research and science is usually split up. We had 1 week where we did 109 hours of science utilization. Over.
This is Medina. Do you have any robots helping you on the ISS? Or are there any plans to ship robots to the ISS to conduct research experiments? Over.
We have robotic arms that we can use outside the station to help us move things out of the station without having to do a spacewalk. We have the GEM arm, the Japanese arm, and we also have the Canada arm. We've had some robots here just for experimentation and development, but nothing that's really helping us do the research experiments. Over.
This is Jenna. What happens if one of the modules suddenly starts to leak? Over.
We are all very well trained, and we begin executing our emergency procedures, and eventually we find out where the leak is, and we close the hatch that leads into that module. So we would let that one module depressurize, and we would save the rest of the station. Over.
Hi, this is me. What are your thoughts on alien life? Over.
Well, we haven't been able to confirm or deny the actual being of alien life anywhere else in our universe yet, but I do believe that there's something out there. It could be just a bug or an amoeba somewhere, but somewhere in the universe there's something. This is my personal thought. Over.
This is Janine. What research experiments are being conducted right now on the ISS, and how can that benefit mankind and Earth? Over.
Right now we're doing a little bit of biology where they're looking at how cells transform and how they mutate. That can help us help to solve cancer. Also, we are growing plants and figuring out how the roots grow and what kind of foods are good and what kind of light frequencies help them grow real big. And that helps us. That will help us grow stronger plants on the ground. We're also measuring radiation and antimatter in space, and that will help us protect the Earth a little bit better from such high energy from outer space. Over.
This is Moran. The mission group on the ISS. Do you all train together before the mission, and what debriefings are being conducted once back on Earth? Over.
Yes, we all train together for a couple of years before we execute the mission. So we're very good at getting the job done as a team when we get up here. Debriefings, the debriefings take a period of a few months, and we debrief every system and every discipline that we worked on, and then all the international partners get together, and we debrief for about a week in each location. Over.
My name is Kim. Does the space station always have a person in place with some degree of medical training? Over.
Yes, we always train at least one person to be the chief medical officer, and they're trained in all kinds of different procedures and they're knowledgeable of what we have up here for resources, and they're connected to doctors and nurses and specialists on the ground to help us out with any medical needs. We're very lucky on this expedition because we have Norishige Kanai, our Japanese astronaut, who is a medical doctor, so that helps us out.
Yeah, I think that was it. Let's give some quick applause.
Okay, Dave, I guess we got loss of signal. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's right.
All right. Well, congratulations to all of you students and teachers of Räddningsgymnasiet Sandö in Sundsvall, Sweden. You did, by my counts, get 18 questions through. All questions answered by astronaut Scott Tingle. Good questions and very well done. Ladies and gentlemen, we have just shared a moment of history. Amateur radio station K6DUE, operated by Dave Taylor, contacted astronaut Scott D. Tingle, KG5NZA, aboard the International Space Station, who spoke with students of Räddningsgymnasiet Sandö in Sweden. Now, Christer, do you have anything more you would like to add? Go ahead.
Yes, we would like to thank every schools involved in this, and also the ISS and the AR-ISS, and all the headmasters of the schools that have given us time on the school schedules. And a special thanks to NTI High School in Sundsvall for this video transmission.
Well, thank you very much, Christer. Now, for the international volunteer team of ARIS, including the amateur radio societies around the world and NASA, this is Eskil van Dooset, SM5SR, located in Sundsvall, Sweden, sending my greetings to all of you in amateur radio terms, 73s, which means best wishes. Mia, are you still online?
Yes, I am.
You may drop the school line.
Okay, great. Thank you.
That went well.